Hey, what's up, everybody? Yellow Turtle here with my co host Beef. Welcome to another episode of the LUKSOfam podcast brought to you by Keys. The LUKSOfam podcast is meant to be a short and informational show where we provide some takes on the latest LUKSO news in the space. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the LUKSO updates from Paris at the Ethereum Community Conference. But before we dive into that, Beef, how are you doing today?
What up? What up? I'm doing way better than I have been doing because my whole house has been sick. And then, kind of like the gravy on top of the mashed potatoes, has been that my little guy's teething too. So it's been a ride the past few days, but I'm feeling better ish. So yeah. What about you?
Well, I'm doing great. It's been a good week for Luxo in the news sense. A lot's been happening over in Paris. And you want to dive right into it?
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Paris, kind of give us some insight as to what you've seen since you and I both didn't make it to Paris. What are some of the key highlights that we've seen so far?
Yeah, I think right off the bat, a thing to highlight is just the amount of marketing that Luxo is doing in Paris. Now, I'm sure people have seen their amazing pink jackets that apparently are custom made for each person that's wearing them. And then also the posters that are plastered around all of Paris on signs in shops, on sidewalks, in the subway system. These bright pink and red posters just plastered everywhere. So that's a huge highlight. It's really nice to see that they're taking the time and the effort to really get their name out there at this conference, especially being one of the top sponsors at ETH CC this year, ECC Paris rather. And then another thing to highlight is that the Maison LYX, which we'll talk about in a few minutes a little more in depth, but they launched their pop-up shop and their citizenship card. So that's really interesting. And we'll get into that. And then also Fabian is speaking or spoke today, this morning, Eastern time. And that was a really nice talk. It was pretty on par for his other talks, but it's always good to hear our fearless leader get up there and talk about universal profiles and account abstraction and those topics, especially because that's such a big topic this year. I mean, Vitalik spoke for about 45 minutes on this topic. I think it was yesterday on the 18th. And then last but not least, which again we'll get into later, is the Anon Ball, which is a little boys club X LUKSO mashup. So that's really, really great to see. And they're doing a lot at this conference. And yeah, it's just super exciting. And I want to hear your take on their marketing efforts and what you think, particularly with like their unique pink strategy. It seems like Paris has been taken over by pink this week.
Yeah, for sure. That eye-popping new logo that they've unveiled, it is plastered everywhere. And I thought it was pretty cool. There was like a subway station too that had like the entire wall in like real cool traditional art framed giant logos. It was pretty awesome to see. I'm pretty happy that they're putting in this much effort as far as marketing and getting the name out there more. Their booth looked pretty cool too, nice and clean. Yeah, and it looked like they had really cool shirts too. So I was super jealous of those jackets though. Those jackets were pretty dope. But I don't know that we're going to be able to mass market those. I mean, it sounded like it was like custom tailored, like you said. So I doubt it, but who knows? Maybe in an IRL event, if you go, you can get measured up for it. That'd be pretty sick.
That team has too much merch. Marjorie has way too many cool Luxo jackets. They gotta send some hand-me-downs to the community.
That's true. That like really cool like jean jacket I feel like she wore when they released like a Medium article. That was a real cool jacket. I don't know
No,
if you
the
caught that
black
one.
one.
Or was it black? Yeah, I can't remember, but exactly if it was jean or if it was black, but yeah, that one was sick.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, so talking about Maison LYX, did you get a chance to check out the citizenship cards?
Oh yeah, I secured myself a citizenship card. Just the digital version. There's the option to grab a physical if you're in Paris, or just sign up for the digital one. And from what I heard, it seemed like you'd be able to one day get the physical version as well. So interested to hear more information on that in the near future. But yeah, I did grab myself one, and what an easy process it was to get one too.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I did it too. I did the digital. I didn't catch the part where it said that you can maybe in the future get an IRL one, or is it I in physical dimension IPD? Because they were using IPD and IDD, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's cool. There's hope because yeah, the way that they phrased that question, it was like almost like, well, which part of life do you like better, the digital or the physical? So that was
I know.
tough for me.
I felt like a nerd saying in digital, but it's true.
Yeah. Hey, kind of breaking down those cards too. We got a closer look at one, and it did say that they were NTTs. What kind of alpha can we spill on this? What does it mean exactly?
Yeah, so NTT stands for non-transferable token, similar to what we typically know in the space as like a soulbound token on Ethereum. It's essentially the same idea, just kind of named differently because soulbound was kind of like a colloquial name for what was actually happening. It's based off of lore from a video game that Vitalik liked. But non-transferable tokens would be tokens that will be sent to a universal profile that will be non-transferable, right? They'll live there forever. They'll represent your citizenship in the Maison LYX digital and physical world. So, yeah, really, really cool stuff. And yeah, what do you know about the NTT?
Just that same alpha that you had spilled. I think it's a way cooler name than Soulbound token, to be honest. Non-transferable token (NTT) sounds, I don't know, cleaner to me. So yeah, I'm super hyped that they're marketing it that way. I think that'll catch on. Soulbound almost has like this strange like association with it as well. I mean, it does sound like something out of a video game, which is fine to some markets, but for more mass adoption for new users, like that's a little bit of intimidating of a phrase, I would say.
It's definitely way more self-explanatory, right? Just non-transferable token, a token that you cannot transfer, right? Um, and then along with that, right? So like it'll be a non-transferable token that gets sent to your universal profile on the LUKSO blockchain. But when you were signing up for the card, you get to add some customization options in there, which I thought was really cool. You got to say like if you were a creator or something like that, and then what your interests were, whether it was like community, technology, innovation, and those customizations were listed on the actual card itself. So I thought that was really cool, and like it's not just a generic card that everyone has in their universal profile. It's customized to you, and it's a non-transferable token. It's supposed to represent you in this space, which I thought was a really nice touch.
Yeah, I missed that. I was doing it on my phone, so I guess I didn't pay attention to it updating the card to like what I was choosing. And now, of course, I'm second guessing all the decisions I made. Did I select the ones that I wanted? I didn't realize that it was having like an instant effect to the card. So, oh man, I already forgot which ones I chose too. So that'll be interesting when I get mine.
I wonder, and this is complete speculation here. I wonder if if that's in the metadata of the non-transferable token, and on Luxo you can update the metadata of NFT. And now this is an NTT, so it might be different. This is pure speculation, but I'd be curious to see if one day we're able to actually change some of the information that's on this citizenship card.
Very true. Very true. It's possible. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Hey, so kind of touching on Fabian's keynote at ETH CC that he gave this morning, what were some of the key points of his speech?
Yeah, I would say there's two main points of the speech, right? Obviously, he gave the classic rundown of what Luxo is and why they sort of started to work on it and where they've gotten to now and the release of mainnet and everything like that. But I'd say that the two main focuses were account abstraction and blockchain based accounts. It's just in the news as of right now. Like I said earlier, Vitalik did a 45-minute talk the other day on account abstraction, but he really emphasized that boils down to blockchain based accounts, and the universal profile is the only real blockchain based account out there at the moment, and they've been working on it since 2017. So while this relatively new coin term has entered into the crypto space, Fabian and the team at Luxo have been thinking about it and working on it for years and years, 6 years, which is crazy to think of. And then the second being that LUKSO provides a clean slate for standards, right? One of the reasons why he essentially started LUKSO was because there's over 7,000 ERCs as of right now, and it's too jumbled. The standards that we're using aren't the best, and we're trying to adapt these standards by using new standards, and it's just a mess. So he took the time to produce 20 of, as of right now, like about 20 of the cleanest standards possible that have been audited, worked on, tested so many times, and are essentially these Lego blocks for smart contract developers to plug and play with to create use cases in the crypto space, right? And just make it that much easier and to create and have interoperability between chains and between different protocols and dApps and everything like that. So I think those are like the two main focuses of the talk today: account abstraction, and then just the clean slate of standards.
Yeah, thanks for that summary. I watched it one time a little bit ago, and I got to digest it and rewatch it just to see if there's things that I had missed. What I did notice was the visuals were nice. They were really clean, and they showed examples of kind of like customization too. There was this a picture that I think Hugo posted on Twitter that kind of highlights this. It almost had like toggle switches for different settings that you could use. So I think having a really nice user interface like that is going to be super beneficial to the growth of the chain, obviously. But man, 15 minutes? 15 minutes? Trying to fit something like this in 15 minutes is too much of a task. We definitely need to have some sort of longer session where we can let the wizard show off some of the tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And I feel like some people might have been a little bit disappointed about how he didn't get to go too in depth on the things he was talking about, but there'll be time in due time, right? There's opportunities for him to be on podcasts, speak at different events and things like that in the future. He was on a bankless podcast, The Green Pill, a couple months back, and it was a full hour. But again, it was like the classic, "Who are you? How long did you work at Ethereum?" which we've heard a million times. So I'd be interested to see a more in depth podcast that kind of picks his brain about some of these like identity topics and account abstraction and things like that. So I think that's definitely coming soon.
Hell yeah. Soon TM or just soon?
Soon TM, of course.
Hey, so something else is happening tonight. That's pretty exciting, and I'm super bummed that I can't go. Is the Anon Ball. It's the LUKSO X Boys Club collab. What can you share about it?
Yeah, so we're recording this on the 19th. It'll come out the 20th, so it's happening tonight. There's not a whole lot that I know about it besides that it's exclusive. The dress code is to the nines. It is what it actually says. It's an anon ball, so I think like people will be wearing masks to kind of hide their identity, which is really interesting. Something that I've only really ever seen in the movies. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how it goes. If there isn't pictures of the fits, I'm going to be upset because they emphasized how like high the dress code is. And it seems like there's a huge wait list of people trying to get into this party. Like it seems like it's like the exclusive event tonight in Paris for this conference, which is really really cool. I mean, obviously the Boys Club is a huge reach, and then to see the relationship with LUKSO is really nice to see, and I think it's important to the future of like this overall community.
Yeah, speaking of that reach, uh, so they they were talking about how exclusive this party was, and then they kind of gave like a jokingly like a list of things you could do to like make the cut, and they were using some phrases that I wasn't familiar with, and my gut reaction instead of googling was to comment like, "What does number 7 even mean?" And then I got roasted. They like screenshot it and then like posted and said, "This is how early we are," like just making fun of me. So I got schooled as far as like what that phrase means, but I know now, I guess. But I don't know. I'm going to have difficulty working that phrase into my normal vocab. I don't think I'll be able to pull it off.
Yeah, their Twitter is pretty ruthless, but that's what makes them them, and I love it. So it's too
Yeah,
bad you got caught at the end of the stick there, but it happens.
it's fine. I was pretty much asking for it, I guess. All right. Well, you want to me to sign us off, or?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, that pretty much covers everything we're trying to talk about today. Just wanted to give a brief update on everything that's been happening in Paris. And make sure you check out Fabian's talk, which can be found on the ETH CC YouTube. That's linked in the Keys Discord. It's on Twitter. It's a bunch of different places. But if you need to find where it is, feel free to join the Keys Discord and ask for sure. But yeah, sign us off, Beef.
As always, remember, none of this is financial advice. It's just a couple of dudes talking about what we love.
Peace.